Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I'm going to be looking at the top 10 best cards from Scarlet and Violet 151. This is coming out, I don't know when this video is coming out. The set will be coming out though this Thursday, so hopefully this video is coming out before the set. I think it will be. This video is probably coming out like Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, it's coming out very soon, the set. These aren't definitively the best 10. Like last time for Obsidian Flames, I think I had a pretty clear top 10. At some point, I actually might do like a review, like a re-review or whatever. I know OmniPoke does that, and they're kind of weird videos, but I might try. I'll probably do like a looking back on like older sets, but yeah, so this set. It's not as clear. There are a number of cards I kind of wanted that I didn't include, and I didn't include any honorable mentions. I'm not quite sure the order. Um, I haven't been looking at these as much. I think what I want to say about Obsidian Flames is that it was a better set than I thought it was. I thought Charizard and Pidgeot weren't that good, and they are. I think pretty good. The new set, I don't think. I think 151's a little worse than Obsidian Flames, but it's very similar level. It's not like broken though. I think the number one card is clear. If it's what you think it is, if you think it's something, it probably is that. But aside from that, a lot of the other stuff's a bit hard to rank. So let's just hop into the first one. First one here is Alakazam EX. Honestly, I don't remember what's on. I don't remember the exact what I have here, but I know Alakazam EX is a very good card. It's a very interesting card. It has the most potential, arguably, out of all these cards in this list. It's really funky. It's first stack here, Mind Jack, 90, 30 for more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So if they have a full bench, you're going to be hitting um, 220, that's pretty, did I do the math right? 150, I don't think sorry, 240. Yeah, so you're hitting 240 for two colors. 220 with a double turbo. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If they have a full bench, of course. So they probably won't, but if they do, you're swinging at decent numbers. You could even share a loop, which is good. And so Alakazam EX's first attack here ain't too bad, but it's not great. It's weak to dark, which is not great. It's psychic type, which I don't know how this card works in terms of weakness. This card's so confusing. Because its second attack here says psychic type weakness is an all right weakness to hit, but its second attack here is a dimensional hand. Does 120 for 2. It can be used on the bench. I don't know if it hits weakness on the bench. I don't know if it hits. I mean, it doesn't really hit resistance, but I don't know how tools interact with it. I don't really know at all. I'm sure some tools say specific things. I don't know how this works. Like in general, it's very confusing. Like there is definitely a ton of weird rulings. I honestly don't know about weakness and resistance or weakness. That's the number one thing. But this card's really interesting. Potentially, you can pair it with Mimic UV. I will likely be playing this deck when it comes out because um, it's a pretty crazy deck. This is like the craziest deck I've seen and like the craziest card I've probably ever seen. I'm trying to think. There's some pretty crazy cards I've seen printed, but I think this is the craziest. Maybe it's not actually that crazy, but to me it seems pretty crazy. Is it good? I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of people say they don't think it's that good, and I don't know. But it has potential to be insane with Mimikyu loops and stuff if they can't gust around it. So I think Alakazam EX has some potential to be pretty good. Next up, we got Charizard DX coming out at number 9. This card's by some people really hyped. It pairs decently well with the other Charizard EX that we have right now from Obsidian Flames. But what you're going to be looking to do here is the fact that you hit 330 for 4. That's the main attack you want to be using. The first attack is okay, but it's outclassed by the other Charizard DX. But you can power this up using the Dark Charizard DX or the Pokemon Go Charizard or some combination of things, and you can one-shot essentially anything. That is essentially the only use of this card, but it does that well. So I think it's good. I'll also mention another card because obviously Charizard DX heavily supported by another card. Another card, because in its evolution line, another card like that is going to be Pidgey, which I did not include in this list. It's the new best Pidgey, I think it is Call for Family. It's one arguably the best cards in the set, but it's not like really like it feels kind of silly to put in this list, so I'm not putting it here. And I don't actually have many trainers on this list too. I'll say I got a few, but there's some that I kind of like played. There's one there's like that like the arm card or whatever, Snatch Arm, which takes like a card from your opponent's hand. It's okay in Mew. It's actually pretty good in Mew, but the card itself isn't a particularly good card, I wouldn't say. So I won't include it on this list. Anyways, moving on to the next Pokemon, Zapdos EX. I was actually very much um, I wasn't sure between Zapdos EX and Moltres, but they have essentially the same ability if they have the type of energy of their type. So in this case, if you have a lightning energy, it does free retreat, which is cool. It's not the most useful thing in the world, but it's a thing. Also, I'll talk about some of these cards. So this one is the official Pokemon release start, and so was this, I think. Some of these cards are going to be proxies from Justin Basil's website. Check out Justin Basil's website, arguably the most useful resource in the Pokemon TCG. Yeah, I'll probably make at some point a video going over the different resources as a good guide, but generally Justin Basil, Limitless, yeah, check those great resources. And this was not on that website though. Unfortunately, this is not the actual card. This is a promo, which is the same card but like a different art, which apparently is out. We don't know the official English translation or the official English art within this set. So a bit of a tangent though. Sorry if I'm kind of rambling. I've just recorded a bunch and I'm a little tired, but Zapdos EX here, 200 HP, which is not great, but it's a thing. And you are weak to lightning as well, resistant to fighting, which can be nice. If you're playing Miraidon and you're against Urshifu, that kind of sucks. But Zapdos here will be pretty solid into Urshifu. So then you have multi-shot lightning, 120 active, and 90 to 20 opponents benched Pokemon with any damage counters on it. Of course, a Pokemon like this naturally fits into a Flaffy Miraidon Raichu style deck. But then you don't necessarily put damage on their bench. This is generally here to like soften something or to soften something up in the active while sniping something on the bench. If you want to build it separately, you could put in Holuchas and do some interesting stuff there. But for the most part, I think this card will be used to soften one thing up and finish something else off. Could also use this to try to as like a different version of Radiant Greninja. We're hitting 90 to 1, 120 to 1, and you obviously need to ping the one on the bench. So you like Radiant Holucha, Holucha or Radiant Alakazam. I sometimes say Radiant Holucha for some reason. Next up, we got Radicate. Insane Zoroark partner, but it's a pretty solid card all in all. It does 30 and 30 more for each damage counter points active. So if you do a little light sprinkling damage, if you've done, say, like 70 to them, and you're going to be hitting 240 and probably KOing them. So yeah, you don't need to hit a lot first. You can just poke them with something very weak. Then Radicate here will finish them off quite nicely. You can use double turbo. You can do other things. I think Radicate's a very nice finisher. Next up, we got Starmie here. This one, yeah, so Radicate is an official translation. Starmie here going to be a promo. So, yeah, this isn't necessarily the official. This is not the official text, but it is a promo. It should be accurate enough. The ability name might be different though. And then we got Aquatic Enigma. So it has an ability once in your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you did, discard this Pokemon and all cards attached. That's a little bit annoying, but it does mean it clears off the bench space, which is nice. Getting extra damage is always good. I think this is going to be a good card just for some extra damage. Honestly, it's probably something I overrate a little. I haven't heard too much talk about this. I've heard some, but I think it's a solid attack. I don't know exactly what you'd put this in. Possibly Lost Box. You do have some recovery in that, so you can get Starmie back pretty easily. And also, I'm not sure what other deck, but extra damage, as I said, is pretty much always good. Next up, we got ourselves Leftovers. I think I really love this card. It's at the end of your turn. This is Pokemon as in the active, heal 20 from it. So that's pretty good. This is a lot of extra healing across over the course of the game. We've seen similar cards which heal much less. So obviously you need Pokemon to live a little while. So I think putting this as the Student Guja restart is going to be very good. There are a few other cards as well. Leftovers here are going to be giving you just a really bulky Pokemon. You're healing so much. If you're living 3 turns, you're healing 60. Like healing 60 on a card is good. If you're living more than that, you're healing just so it's so good. I think pairing this with Radiant Serena, heal 40 every turn, going to be really nice. I think Leftovers is a very good card. There is actually a card that recovers Leftovers as well, which is pretty cool. But overall, I'm just a big fan of this. It might not be the best card, but I think it's fun, and I think it'll find slots in some tanky decks. Speaking of tanky decks, we got Blastoise EX. I don't actually know if this would be a partner for Leftovers, but it could be. 330 HP, takes 30 less. This is um, one of the best attackers in the set. I think the three of the top four are attackers, and Blastoise EX a very good one. Its attack's not like broken, but it's solid. For 2 water discard after 2 basic water from your hand, it does 1 for each card discard in this way. Presumably you don't die. Hopefully you heal up a little. Say Leftovers, Radiant, Serena. You've taken 30 less, so you've essentially removed 70 damage. You have 330 HP, so you should be not getting two-shotted, honestly. Blastoise, you're just in a great spot. Then you're hitting 280 of very solid damage to amount to hit, and it's not super awkward to recover energy. It's actually pretty easily, very easy. And then you have, I think you just hit the hardest parts to power this up. It's a stage 2 energy. It's not that hard to power up though. You can just like Raihan. It can be awkward if they like hit you with a crushing hammer, you'll be sad, but that's not really something people play. You could play Excalibur, or you could play Palkia, but I don't even know if you need those. I'd probably play it just tanky, play it slow. I'm a big fan of this card. You can put Lake Acuity as well to take less. This is one of my favorite cards. Another favorite one, another big thick Pokemon, Wigglytuff EX here. You got 250 HP, but if you have a special energy attached, which I will talk about some of them specifically, but I mean, you want it. Call this Pokemon, you probably want special energies. Anyway, you get 350 HP. That's pretty good. 350 is bigger than anything in the game. It's actually 10 less than Blastoise if you're counting as damage reduction, but still, it's insane. So you're going to live. And then you get your stage 1, and then you hit 180 for 3. 160, I suppose, if you have double turbo. You can accelerate energy with the other Whimsicott, I believe. Or sorry, no, is it Whimsicott? I think it's a Wigglytuff. I don't remember exactly, but I believe there's one that accelerates therapeutic energy. Which you can use. You can use Lugia Archeops to accelerate to this. You can use also I mean, you can just double turbo attach. It's not a huge deal. You can also Sharon's Care, which is nice. So I think you have a lot of different routes of going about this. So I'm going to double check that there's the Wigglytuff that accelerates therapeutic energy. I'm pretty sure that's what it does. But I want to make sure I'm not thinking of some other Pokemon. Yes, so we got Wigglytuff from I believe it's from Paldea Evolved. Once during a turn, you can attach a therapeutic energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Therapeutic energy, not a particularly good special energy, but it's one you can use. And if you're using Sharon's Care loops, it'll allow you to actually attack with the same Wigglytuff over and over. It's super good. Next up, we got Juvia's Charisma. I have in question marks, not about whether it's good, but whether it's that's actually its name. This is a proxy card, so it might be Giovanni's something else. But yeah, Giovanni's Riz card. No, so I don't know if it's confirmed Giovanni's Charisma, but I don't think it's confirmed. That's not yet. But it's a very good card in my opinion. Put an energy attached to your opponent's active to their hand, and if you do attach energy from your hand to your active Pokemon, this isn't just basic energy. This can accelerate special energy. We were talking about Wigglytuff EX. You do accelerate special energy. Giovanni's Charisma does that. There's also a few cards that interact with this, which boost it a little bit. Not that much. You probably won't play them, but there are things out there. But Giovanni's Charisma it's pretty insane. You just get to remove energy, which is good. It's not great, but it's solid. When you accelerate, which is insane. The only issue is you don't draw, so you have to pair this with some pretty solid engine. But I think this card is insane. I think it's being overlooked as well. I think this is obviously, I think it's one of the best cards in the set. I think it's the second best. But undoubtedly the best card in the set is Mew EX. 180 HP is not a lot, but that's the only bad thing about the card. I mean, you give up 2 prizes too. Wait, is 151's? I didn't realize 151's set abbreviation was literally Mew. That's cool. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, this is the card they're hyping up. The Mewtwo is not very good. But restart draw till you have 3 cards in hand. Isn't that good? That's good. It's not broken, but it's solid. You can use multiple restarts as well if you want, but you probably won't. But you can probably draw maybe 4 or 5 extra cards throughout the course of the game with this. Maybe even more if you build towards it. You can maybe draw 8 or 10. There are certainly games where you won't draw like any as well. It's a nice thing to have as a supporting aspect to the card. For your treat, another great aspect to have as a supporting aspect to the card. This will likely be the new best pivot, as it has its good ability, it has good attack, it has its for your treat. Arguably not necessarily the best pivot, but it's still pretty good. And then you got genome hacking for 3 colors, so it can be used to attack within essentially every deck. Choose one of your points, not necessarily easily in every deck, but can be used in every deck. Choose one of your points active, Pokemon's attacks, use it as this attack. First of all, powering this up, you can do, I think this is very good in Miraidon, and is very good in Miraidon. You need to power it up with Flaffy, I believe. I don't believe Electric Generator works, but you can use Flaffy to get this up. And then in Chimp Power. I think it's insane in Chimp Power. And then genome hacking, you want to copy, probably this is best to counter Giratina V-Star, as Giratina has it's pretty insane attack that does 280, which is incidentally the amount of health it has. You can, I believe, copy V-Star powers with this. It will use your V-Star power, and it needs to be an attack. You can't like use their ability with your attack, but you could copy like Dialga V-Star, and then like use a Vista Power, take an extra turn. Preferably don't attack with genome hacking again because, um, then you're not going to do much damage, but it's still pretty good here. So like take the extra turn, then go into like Chimp Power, just obliterate them, or like Radiant Conjure, obliterate them. So overall, I think BVX is a very good card. It has been talked about a lot. The rest of the cards here are very solid. I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts are. I will likely be doing 10 underrated cards, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider subscribing. It's free. You can undo it anytime. And I'm excited to see it next time. And I'm excited to play these cards. I'm going to play these cards a lot.